Hello, music fans. Welcome back to the Death by Unicorn channel. Today I'm talking about my top 10 favorite thrash metal albums of 2023. Thrash metal isn't really my main metal subgenre that I listen to, but I did listen to some thrash albums this year that I thought were worth calling out. Typically, my main genres are progressive metal and progressive rock, and then I dabble in other things like metalcore and post-hardcore, and I explore thrash metal a little bit. So felt like I should make my list here. Let's jump right in with my number 10, which is Sadus and their album The Shadow Inside. This is technical thrash metal with death metal, black metal influences in there. It's the sixth album by this American band who started way back in 1985. They put out their first album in 1988. This is for fans of Slayer and Vector. It's intense, brutal, extreme thrash metal with more of an old school sound. Great riffs that I think thrash fans will really like. Number 9, my number 9 through 7 all have one guy in common. There's a theme here. It's Bradley Hall and his comedy thrash metal album called Metallibeans. This features an AI James Hetfield voice plus Bradley Hall's guitars. So what else could you want? I love how he parodies the different eras of Metallica, including the Lulu era on this one. Just a hilarious parody thrash metal album for people who want to hear a parody of Metallica. Number 8 is Brain Slug with their album Brain Slug, their self-titled debut album. They're another comedic thrash metal band that also features YouTuber Bradley Hall on guitar. Great shredding in here, fun songs, great guest solos by Jordan Rudess and Bumblefoot. This one's a little bit more serious than the previous one, Metallibeans, that has the AI voice. So there's actual proper voices that aren't AI on here. Check out the song Thrash Grandad for a preview. And then number 7 is also Bradley Hall with Mega Beans. Comedy thrash metal again. It's a parody of Megadeth. The lyrics and vocals are hilarious. The guitar playing sounds a lot like Megadeth, and it's really well done. Top-notch shredding and memes in this album. Number 6 is Enforced with War Remains. This is thrash metal with death metal and hardcore punk influences. The third album by this American band, solid, fast, thrashy riffs on this no-nonsense thrash album for fans of Slayer. Number 5 is the mighty Metallica with 72 Seasons. This is thrash metal with heavy metal and hard rock influences. The 11th album by the biggest metal band of all time. It's decent, but nothing special or exciting like their first 5 albums to me. They still can't seem to make anything quite as good as those first 5 albums. Their last 2 albums, I think, have been the closest they've come to reaching the heights of their classic 5 albums. They're a bit of a return to form after the disappointing era of Load, Reload, and Saint Anger. Number 4 is Overkill with Scorched. This is the 20th album by this US thrash band. I didn't know too much about them when I checked this out, but I heard the single The Surgeon. It was pretty good, so I checked out the album. I found the riffs, the playing, and the composition even more exciting than the Metallica release that I just talked about. Still, thrash isn't really my style, so I probably won't go back to it too often. The vocals aren't my style either, but they're fairly unique and interesting. They're high pitch, and a lot of the time it's not really singing, but it's not really screaming either. It's kind of like the vocals of Creator mixed with AC/DC mixed with Iron Maiden. Some parts have singing that sound like traditional heavy metal, like Iron Maiden, but other parts are this strange, almost shrieking singing. Number 3 is Voivod with Morgoth Tale. So here we're getting into the really good stuff. This is progressive thrash metal. It's the 16th album by this Canadian band, and it features re-recordings of a bunch of songs from their back catalog, as well as one new song to celebrate their 40th anniversary as a band. I really enjoyed listening to this. A lot of the songs are really great. The new song is one of the best on the album as well. And number 2 is Methadras with Human Deception. This is thrash metal with death metal influences. It's the 6th album by this Italian band. All in all, the whole album was pretty solid. It featured sprinklings of almost every type of metal music on here, from thrash to groove to death to black to metalcore to symphonic, even some hints of prog. There's not much, if any, clean singing on this album, though, so be prepared for something extreme. Like I said, they pretty much touched on every metal subgenre, although they never really ventured into doom or power metal territories, but they touched on all the other main genres of metal at various points. I think fans of Lamb of God and Slayer will like this, as it kind of sounds like those bands, but with a lot of sprinkles of other influences. And then my number one thrash metal album of 2023 is by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, quickly becoming my favorite thrash band of all time, which is kind of hilarious because they're not really a thrash metal band. But with their album Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, and Annihilation of Planet Earth, and the beginning of Merciless Damnation, they really, this is their second album in the thrash genre, but it's their 24th album overall. They're a great Australian band who makes albums and songs in many different genres, with usually an emphasis on psychedelic rock, progressive rock, jazz fusion, sometimes going as far as dream pop and hip hop. But this album is similar in sound to their 2019 album Infest the Rat's Nest. It has that thrash metal style, but this one's more progressive than Infest the Rat's Nest. And I think I like it even better. I love all the time signature changes and odd time parts. The energy and aggression in the guitar riffs, drumming, and the vocals is just really fun. The tone of the guitar sounds like Metallica, but the complexity of the songs is beyond anything Metallica ever did. If you like Megadeth and Metallica, who want to hear music like that done with the craziness and quirkiness of Mr. Bungle and the rhythms and atmosphere of Tool, this is an album you should check out. My favorite tracks are Dragons and Converge. And that's it for my top 10 thrash metal albums of 2023. Let me know what were your favorite thrash metal albums of 2023. I'm sure I missed some great ones since I'm not a thrash metal expert, but I figured I'd share my lists in case it helps introduce anyone to some new music. Until next time, peace out.